There we go. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Is there anybody outside alive? We have some visitors here as well. Anyone that can hear me? Just want to make sure. All right. Hi. Keep me hanging. Okay, looks like the sound is working. Thank you very much. Right, guys, welcome to our weekly webinar. So today is going to be a discussion on the solar power camera operation. First of all, I would like to apologize for last week. My department and the marketing department got a bit of a mix-up. It was supposed to be this last week, but we did the color view operation last week. So we swapped the two around. So there was some, technical issue there. So my apologies. According to my technical sheet that we received of what webinars we are doing, and then well, obviously we gave it to marketing and something went wrong and we swapped it around. So today is the solar, so don't worry, you didn't miss out. And you're not going to miss out on any of the other ones. We do this on a regular basis. So we go through all these type of things. We have done this in the past. People are still asking about this. So maybe I'm going to go a little bit more into that little bit of information and then that guidance. And it's not just you guys outside there that's having that issue. It's even my internal department that's got these kind of technical issues as well. So I specialize in this, and then I will be discussing it. All right. Okay. Everybody great. Okay, perfect. All right, moving along. So next up, as we are going to be discussing, move PPT. There we go. Right, so we're going to be discussing the installation setup very quickly. I've got a sneak peek for you guys a little bit there. Please don't tell anybody about this little sneak peek. This is going to be at one of our events, very big event for Hikvision. So I'm not going to mention anything more, but I'm asking you guys to please keep this information to yourself. So don't tell my bosses, because this was supposed to be announced at our very big Hikvision event that's around the corner. If you don't know about it, please speak to our marketing department, Jade and Palesa. But yeah, so don't tell anyone. All right. And then obviously how to activate the device, very commonly an issue, and then also the firmware update and how to connect it, etc., etc. So let's go into it. So first of all, obviously you are familiar with the general three models that we have. We have the advanced series, the standard series, and the basic series. So all that little specs are there. We have gone through all that. We also do know that we have the HIK Pro model as well now. So you can order that as well. So that is also available. As you can see, you'll see that a lot of you guys might be familiar with the older model. Obviously, it has changed now to the newer model. So please keep that in mind. I just wanted to showcase that as well. There is a first generation, and now we have a second generation. So keep that in mind. The second generation is out. A lot of the guys have been using it. They have been calling me as well. So yeah. All right. Specifications is there. Obviously, you can read. Sure. Hopefully, if you can't, look at the pictures, will make you understand. All right. Okay. Moving along. So sneak peek. So obviously, we do know. And please excuse the versions, didn't have a chance to update a lot of the stuff, but you have our solar cameras, you have the SD card that can go in, you have the little SIM card that can go in, communicates, you can have it communicating to HIK-Central, professional. Obviously, we have version 2.2 that's available, no longer 2.1, but around the corner in the next week or two, you'll be having the new version of version 2.3. And there's a lot more that we can do that. Anyway, obviously to an NVR, if you have a, set up correctly and correct custom firmware, you don't need heavy custom firmware, just normal configuration, but don't worry too much about that. All right, obviously the HIK Connect and obviously the Pro Connect for the installers. So yes, all right. So sneak peek, please do not tell anybody about this. I'm asking very nicely. I'm going to get in trouble because we are supposed to announce this at our big event and not on our webinar. So if somebody tells you, make like you are surprised, like a birthday present. Okay. Yes, that is correct. Look nicely. On our advanced series, we're going to have a tandem view PTZ. We are still in discussion about the two different models that we're going to be having. So this is not a guarantee, this spreadsheet itself. Again, this is just what is coming. Obviously, we're also going to have a small PTZ that's on that solar camera as well. So yes, you've asked for it. Yes, you're going to get it. Be patient. Then we also have a normal solar power panel with a battery with everything that you can add what you need to. This is something that we've asked our headquarters for, and this will help us to be able to connect up wireless bridges. So you have one for your PTZ, or one for the HIK Pro camera, and one for the nano station or the wireless bridge. So yes, that is available, or not available now, but you can see it's coming. It's around the corner. So we are working on that. But yes, very exciting news. Tandem view and PTZ, not just the HIK Pro or the normal series. Pretty cool. Okay, so no one saw that. No one knows about this. Please keep it to yourself. Right, moving along. Okay, so setup. So very straightforward on the installation setup itself. There is a video. I am going to skip the video. I'm going to pause this and play the video instead of playing the video on the PPT, because it does. I know the internet's going to go the whole time, so I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to skip that, and then we move along from there. So let's just quickly move to the next one. Where's my mouse? Gone. And you see that PPT just crashed on me. Do you guys see the buffering? Like PPTs, eh? Okay. So let's stop share there, and let's play that video. So this is just going to show you guys the installation setup and how easy that little protocol is. So let me get to that little video while that picture is there. Okay. Boom. Okay, so just have a look. This is a general setup. Even the new ones look very similar. Obviously, the mounting bracket is a little bit different on the camera side, but the rest is overall about the same. Everything will come together in one single kit box. I'm going to talk off. All righty then. My PPT is still stuck. So let me see how I can fix that problem. We were just discussing now that little video of, okay, yeah, there we go, PPC. Yeah, thank you, PPC. Yeah, let's start and restart this program. While it's restarting. Yeah, so we were discussing a lot of the guys, not just with this specific, a lot of the guys use the cameras, they set them up, they install them, they on a mountain area 50 kilometers away from normal civilization of human beings. And then you have that little sticker that's flapping there in the window, in the view from the control room. Great stuff, guys. Thanks for keeping the plastic little sheet on it. Helps a lot. Anyhow, let me just close here. Let's skip to that part where we were. All right, there we go. Let's see. That should pop up now. Not yet. Okay, come on, Zoom, work with me. Share. Boom. Ha! There we go. So you guys can see that. Okay, so very straightforward. This is obviously the basic model I used here. So just to showcase that as well. So it's part of that little installation, whatever the case is. Basic unit, I've used a wireless bridge to be able to communicate to the different devices. I obviously use the sun to charge it a bit, and we'll go into detail a bit more on that. Just go to the next page. Go. There we go. Right. So multiple different places where this can be installed. So this is the basic model that I use. There are different mounting brackets as well for like these specific models. We also have for the smaller model, you have that little small bracket as well. So if you want additional brackets and you like that bracket and you want to use it for something else, there we go. Maybe that helps. All right. Battery side. Obviously, these battery boxes are for the advanced series, not for the standard, not for the basic, only for the advanced. They will also come across in the PTZ and the tandem view, as well as the HIK Pro one. We haven't received ours to play with, but yeah, keep that in mind. That's the shape and the size of the battery box. We had issues of getting those batteries into the countries, not just us, as any other type of company that needs to import lithium-ion batteries. We can't do it by ship. We all understand what's happening with the war between certain countries. And also we can't fly it in because it's an actual battery that you can remove. So if you can remove it, you can snap it in half, break it, it will catch fire, and then there goes the plane. So a normal battery that you don't have access to, like your mobile phone, that you can't take out the battery, that will be accepted. So we found a little loophole about that, and we're moving forward. So we're getting that stock, as you saw in that little sneak peek that you're not allowed to tell anyone about. Okay. So just on that video, just to go back, just to quickly say about that video that played, because I was talking while the video was playing, my apologies. So it's very easy, very basic. The camera itself is the old model in that video clip, but it still comes down to the same principle. Everything is inside the box. Everything is ready there for you to use in order for you to do a complete setup. So you don't have to go buy the battery separate, or the regulator, or the solar power panel, or the brackets. You don't have to do all that. It comes as a kit, so you don't have to worry. It makes life a lot easier for any of the guys that are familiar with these type of installations. Moving along. So just from that, after you've mounted the solar power, please do not cut the wires. I'm asking very nicely. We've had people that said, okay, well, we don't need the cable, so let's cut it. Don't cut it, please. They're there for specific reasons. Don't go and cut it. You'll lose your warranty. All right. So also underneath it, you'll have that little 2 screws, so you can get to the SD card and the memory card, the SIM card as well. So everything is underneath it, and the on-off button is also there. All right. So as you can see in the picture here, you have that little on-off dip switch that you can switch it on and off with. So we will go through that little setup as well just now. So, right. So let's activate the device. So very importantly, so as examples, notches, I'm just going to skip ahead quickly with one page. You'll see on the cabling side of these cameras, you'll have a RJ45 plug. You'll also have a USB plug. There will be a power jack as well. That normal 12-volt power jack itself is not there to supply power. It's also not there to receive power. Ignore it. Use the USB to power up or charge the device from at your office, on your desk, if you need to maybe set it up, whatever the case is. All right. So once you've opened it up, you power it on. So very importantly, I'm just going to jump the gun here because a lot of the guys make the mistake. Whether you use the basic, whether you use the standard or the advanced, they're all the same. Make sure that you have your network cable plugged into whatever, network switch, or to your laptop or computer at your desk. If everything is plugged in, if you need to provide power, provide power. If not, go put it in the sun, switch it on, let it charge up a little bit, whatever the case might be. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that the device is off, the network cable is plugged in. Once the network cable is plugged in and everything is ready for you, power it on. As it power on, you'll see the red light is on. Once the blue light starts flashing, check on your SADP tool. Make sure that you can see the device, activate the device. Once you are done activating the device and changing the IP address that you need it for, switch it off. Trust me, this makes life a lot easier. Once you switch it off, wait a little bit, switch it back on again. As soon as it's back on and the blue light is going on, immediately log into it through your SADP tool. Then you go to the different modes, the power mode. And I'll show you guys a little bit later why. That's the first step that you need to do after you've activated the device, is go straight there and go and change the settings there. All right. So again, you'll have your device. You can charge it via USB itself. It uses the old C connection, whatever USB are. I can't even remember. There's so many in there. No, USB-C is the new connections, isn't it? Type C, yeah, Type C is the new one. Sorry, my apologies. I think it's like Alt, I don't know. Maybe if it's D or E, I don't know. Anyway, and then obviously make sure that you power up. You can put your SIM card in later. You don't have to put it in immediately, or your SD card. You don't have to. This is just for the setup. Please make sure that you set this up before you go out to site. You don't want to create headaches for yourself. Makes life easy. Once you've obviously switched it on, like I mentioned, there's an activated device. I'm showing with the mouse on my screen instead of your guys' screen. My apologies. There it is. It says inactive. Activate the device, put the password in and say, done. Once you are done, log into it as quick as possible. Oh, my bad. I'm jumped the gun there. Once you've logged in, it's going to show you a page. Yes, this is the one in our demo room. I played around with it in the beginning of the year. I just took some print screens there. My apologies. But just to show you guys what's going on that. Right. It will immediately show you where the battery is. Obviously, I had a charger plugged into it because there's no sunlight inside our building, but I'm sure you guys understand. Once you're there, you go immediately to configurations. As soon as you go into configurations, go into your power selection mode, and then make sure that you put it under full itself. You want the whole thing to work as maximum as you would like to, because this is just for setting it up for time being. Reason being, the device has a built-in motion PIR. So once there's activity, it will wake up. So now you're busy setting up everything, it goes to sleep, and then you lose the connection. So keep that in mind. All right, please. If there's anything about this that's unclear, it's there. I've written it down. I made this PPT myself. Yes, I did that one to help to try and make it more sensible. I don't know how else to do it better to express my point of view. Then, very importantly, if you would like to, you can set the power itself. That is so that when the battery itself drops to a certain area, you can push it up to more than 20. Please keep it at 20. Don't drop it lower than 20. If you really know what you're doing and you're very familiar and whatever the case is, then it's up to you. That's your problem. A recommendation from our side is keep it at 20, please. This is lithium-ion batteries that's inside it. Once you discharge them to 0 or as low as 5%, then you can say bye-bye. Then it's pointless. All right, so the best is to keep it safe. You're looking about saving the battery and not just destroying the battery completely. Okay, so once you've done that, you can carry on with the rest of your stuff if you would like to. Right, but we're moving along. So yeah, just to showcase a little bit on that itself. So as you guys can see, obviously there's different settings modes that you can do. You can drop the brightness itself, etc., etc. You can also put the SIM card to sleep. There's multiple different options that you have for that specific unit. Without charging, yes, you can get depends on the devices. Most of the devices will give you quite a few days without a solar power or any sunlight itself. So if that connection is not there going towards the battery and the battery is fully charged up, you'll get quite a few days, more than 4. There's some of them that you can set just for push notifications on the advanced series with just a fully charged battery, and you can get more than 80 days of notifications. Trust me, I've tested this, but the question is still, why do you want to do that? The idea of it, as well as this is a remote camera that will be able to be standalone, and then once it's in a certain environment and it's looking at that area, and it will give you a notification to say, listen, I'm not charging anymore. Gives you a few days to get to that device to go and see what's wrong with it. Please don't try and think that, oh, well, this system needs to at least last 2 weeks without any sunlight. You were supposed to go and have a look what's wrong with it within a few days, not 2 weeks. Okay, so that's the whole idea about this design and about this product itself. And it's not just ours, it's like any solar system that you set up. If you're going to get a notification to say that the batteries are no longer getting charged, are you going to wait for a week, or you're going to actually take a day or two and book a job card and go out to go and see what's going on? There's that kind of principle. All right, so you're covered with the amount of days with just the battery. Moving along. Right, so on here itself, you can go and also set certain scheduled times as well. So you can have it where it maybe sleeps during the day, and at night time it needs to wake up. You can change all that settings. It all depends on what your requirements are. So once you've done changing the IP address, put in the SIM card and tested everything, then you can go and reconfigure whatever your schedule is for it to sleep if you would like it to. Some businesses might need it, other places might not need it. So it depends on what your application is for them, but you have the options, right? And I'm sure that if you understand how to set up any of the other schedule things, then you'll understand how this is. Obviously, this is a little bit higher than the general camera selection. So if you're not familiar with this, maybe start off with normal cameras on IP and then maybe work your way up towards the solar side. All right. Moving along, obviously, you have different modes that you can set, as you can see in this PowerPoint itself. So it depends on what your selection is that you would like it to be. All right. So those options are there, especially for the VCA function. Okay. Next up is on the firmware. Again, like I mentioned, if you have the device at your office and you know that tomorrow you're going to go and install this, please make sure that you just wake up the system, go through everything, set it up, make sure your IP address is what you need it for, test everything, make sure it's communicating to your control room or to your NVR or HIK-Central. Do it at the office. Don't go do it on the site. Make life difficult. You can do it on your desk. Right. So I took a little bit of print screens here just to show you guys. So obviously you can see the model number. So I just want to quickly move to the screen because I can't see the big one from this angle. It's very fun. I want to tell you guys something about something there. It is, okay, right there. It's right about there. So you'll see that there's different firmwares itself that's available. Please make sure that you check the date on the firmware. So for that firmware itself, it will be a certain version. And after the version, very importantly, let me give you guys a little tip there. It's got a build. There we go. There we go. It's got a build. So whether it's on the browser or whether it's the actual device, there's a build. And behind that build, there's numbers. So it will normally start off with the year. So if it says 20 or 21 or 22, that's the year. If it says 19 or 18, then that's 2018, 2019, that's the number itself. Thereafter is the month. Where's the mouse now again? It will tell you the month and then obviously the date. So that will give you indication how old the firmware body is itself of that firmware. So if it's a little bit out by year, please, there has to be an update version. Please find out. If you don't, please speak to our call center. If you can't speak to our call centers, please speak to the company where you purchased it from. They should have that connection regarding us and help you update the firmware. Right. So get an updated firmware. We keep on updating these things on a regular basis. Rather have an update version. You go out, you make sure that everything is tested by your desk. Then you know that everything is sharp. And when you get onto the site, because this is remote devices, they are for secluded areas where you can't have network cables or whatever. So that's the whole idea why I'm saying make sure that it's at your office. Obviously, you guys are familiar with the update way of how you need to update the firmware. Once you have the file, you go onto it and then you select upgrade, update the firmware. So if you're not familiar with this, please start again, like I mentioned, with the CCTV side. This is then obviously a bit more too advanced for you. But anyway, next step is, again, I've tested these with multiple different SIM cards. Yes, we have tested it. There is different connections. So for those of you that wanted to know what type of SIM card does it handle, so the SIM card itself is a micro SIM card. For the technical terminology, that will be a 3FF. So that's the cutout of the SIM card that it can fit in. All right. And then if you didn't know what type of memory card itself slot it is, it's a nano card itself. So that will be a 4FF. Right. So hoping that might help you guys a bit more. All right. And then obviously, as you can see, mobile networks, they are working. We tested, we play around, we do a lot. We've even tested the newer models that work off instead of 4G with 5G for SIM cards, still the same. You shove it in there and then you leave it. It works. All right, let's go through that explanation. So obviously, once you go to configuration, you can change your IP address according to whatever your network is and what you needed. So to make it a little bit easier, if you have wireless bridges, obviously make it in the same range as what your wireless bridges are towards your NVR or your HIK-xample, whatever the case might be. Right. So once you get to the network, you go to basics. That will be under wireless. I'm looking at mine again and pointing at my bad, guys. So you'll get your wireless, your connection itself. You'll see that everything is unknown. Oh, bad connection. Let's see. Don't send. Okay, let's try again. My apologies, guys. Okay, looks like just my little image of me has frozen. Let's see if it comes up again. There we go. All right. Okay, my apologies, guys. So as you can see, you don't need to change any of that. So once you put in the SIM card, it will show you blank like that. Put the SIM card in, wait a few seconds, refresh, and you'll see it's just like your new mobile phones. I think it's frozen again. But okay, let's leave the image frozen. Okay, I'm going to kill that image quickly. Right, so keep it refreshed, everything. Just like your mobile phone, it will preset all the MMS messages for you. It will send you an SMS notification to say all your settings has been loaded. It works the same principle. If you go and change anything, then it's going to create some conflict for you regarding that. All right. Moving along. If it's going to move. Come, PPT. There we go. Right, on the other end as well, same story. You don't have to go and change anything. Like I said, it's now been, the firmware has been changed, so you don't have to go and change anything unless you go and do it yourself. Best is to make sure to keep it always on auto. It will configure itself. So as you put it onto auto and you refresh it, it will automatically go from the one side and then connect, and it will put in all the information that it needs. It will put it in for you. You don't have to do it for it. Right, it will show you also that it's connected and Bob is your uncle. That's it. Then the next step is, as you can see here, you can go put your plan in for the amount that you want to use the data for and when. So some people don't want notifications during the day. So only from nighttime they want that notifications. Then you can go and set it so you save a bit of data. So if you need be, so you have that option as well, right? That timing schedule. Moving along. So on that as well, you can also go and add SMSs if you would like to. So it will send you that notifications. You don't have to. If you got HIK Connect onto it, then you are sorted. That's the most easiest and more functional way because it uses less. It's like WhatsApp messages, right? Then also you can go and change those little options as well for those notifications. So it depends on what reports you would like to receive. I'm not going to show this video. I'm going to skip on this one. So again, that's just the, you know, how to put it all together from a different video, different point of view. Okay. So let's go through quickly to the HIK Connect, loading it. And there my PPT crash. So let's give it a few seconds. That's nice. Lovely. Took a while. My apologies, guys. These technical things happen. It's nice when you have things that work out. All right. Anyway, so for that configuration itself for the HIK Connect, as I mentioned, on the settings itself, you'll go and then you will enable it like anything else like normal. You can use the ISAP itself. We do have the ISAP 5 protocol. So for you that are familiar with it, you can use it as well. For this demonstration, we're going to use HIK Connect instead of the ISAP. So obviously you'll enable it, make sure that your verification code is also there, as you'll see in the next one. So once you've done that, you save, it will show you that the device is online. Please don't crash PPT. And then once you are done with that setup, like I mentioned, you'll go to your device. You'll open up your HIK Connect app. You click on that little button there in the top hand side to say add a device. You scan that QR code, and you will go through the next page itself, which will be this one. So the next page will obviously tell you that it sees the model number. You go next, put the verification code in, select what type of camera it is. It's a camera. So, you know, put a camera. And then you can press the button as well to activate the device using your HIK Connect account password. So instead of you having to log into it via your SADP tool, you don't have to use that feature. You can use this feature where you basically plug it in, scan it, and then you go into it and you can set it up that way as well. It's just a little bit more trickier, and you have to be more familiar with it doing that way. The base is obviously using the SADP tool. Anyway, so moving along. So as you can see, it will select out of the cameras, whatever, it will show you the solar camera. You say connect, it will go through it, and then connection is done. And then once the connection is done, you'll have the image of that specific camera. The nice thing is you'll see the battery itself on the overlay of the camera. So it will tell you, remember, if you want any other notifications like low batteries, maybe it's not charging, whatever the case is, you have to go into the browser and go and change those settings, whatever you would like. You can do a playback if you have a memory card in it, and that's about straightforward. And then when you get the notifications, it will come through, it will show you a little picture from the PIR notification, and it will give you a little playback button, or you can go and live view it if you want to see what's happening right now. So just like any other normal camera on an event for HIK Connect itself, it works off the basic of the same principle. All right. Thank you, guys. My apologies for the hiccup of this PowerPoint. Yeah, these things do happen. We don't have control over it. After this will be the Q&A. I I know there was the one question. I see there's some more. So after that, we'll go through all that and then I'll open up the mics. So for those of you that's jumping off or watching this on YouTube, tomorrow we'll have another webinar. So stay tuned on that one.